thing you want to do before you start anything else is start your kettle. It's going to take a couple minutes for water to boil for Udan. So if you don't have some prepared ahead of time, or you aren't using oatmeal, mashed potatoes, or cream of wheat that's left over for breakfast or dinner, then you want to start your kettle first so you can make your Udan without wasting time. Weigh 510 grams of spelt. 510 grams of spelt grain equals 510 grams of spelt flour. Mill the spelt into flour. When milling our grains, we want to turn our mill on first so that the grains don't stall the mill or get stuck between the stones. So we're going to turn on our mill and we should hear the stones tapping. Just like that. We're going to put in our grain. Once the stones start tapping again, it's time to turn off your mill. It's very easy and quick to mill grains fresh into flour. And if you prepare your ingredients for your recipe while your flour is milling, there is no extra time. We call that multitasking. My water is boiling, or while your grains are grinding, you can measure your yeast. I'm using 12 grams. Zero out your scale by pressing the 0 or the tare button. Notice how the scale goes back to 0 with something still on it. I'm also going to measure my sea salt. I'm going to add these at the same time to my recipe. I'm going to use 10 grams. Whoops. And then I'm going to set these to the side. Measure your water, which I have added to my bowl. Pardon my bowl, it has remnants of the last batch still in there. Honestly, I don't feel like cleaning it because it means I have to do the dishes first, and it's not going to make that much of a difference. If that bothers you, sorry. Your kitchen, your rules, my kitchen, mine. So I'm going to crack an egg into here. One egg is approximately 50 grams. Okay. Here's a trick I do for measuring my honey and my olive oil. In the bread classes, we prepare everything ahead of time. And so if we don't want our honey to stick, we measure our olive oil first. I'm gonna put, what do I have in here? 25 grams of olive oil. And then I'm gonna put my honey directly on top of the olive oil so that when I go to pour them both into the bowl, it doesn't stick. I zero out my scale and add the honey. We've milled our spelt flour, and while we did that, we measured some of our ingredients. What we're gonna do next is make our Udan. I just boiled a pot of water, and I'm going to add 25 grams of flour to my bowl on the scale. My scale's zeroed out. I'll add a little bit of flour. "26 grams is just fine. Zero out my scale. Add 50 grams or twice that in boiling water. It's okay if you go over a little bit. Doesn't matter. It does matter that the water is actually boiling and not just hot. In order for this starch to gelatinize, the temperature of the water needs to be boiling. So if you find that your mixture is not thickening like a paste as you spread it around in this dish, consider that your water may not be hot enough. Like if you're using a coffee maker, a lot of times they say it's set to boiling, but it really isn't hot enough. You can boil water in the microwave. I believe 2 minutes on high should do it. So this looks beautiful. We're gonna add our Udan directly into the liquid mixture in our mixing bowl. Okay. I love to use a silicone spatula like this one. It cleans the bowl very nicely. And then I just clean off my finger with the end. There we go. Now, what's the purpose of doing it this way? Well, my method of Udan is what I like to call the quick, no wait Udan, because usually you have to let this cool fully, sometimes in the refrigerator. It can take several hours. I don't have time for that. By putting the Udan mixture directly into the water from my recipe, and my water came from the tap, it's cold water. It cools the mixture down and we can continue on with no waiting. All right, the last thing to add is the remainder of our flour. I'm going to use my dough hook. I'm gonna set a timer for 6 minutes. Turn it on. It's been 6 minutes since we mixed our dough. Lift it up and take a look at this. See how our dough is stretching out of the bowl? It's still very wet, but it's nice and stretchy for a soft grain like spelt. Sprinkle the salt and the yeast into the bowl. Mix just until it's incorporated. The dough's going to tighten up since we added the salt, and the yeast will also change the texture of the bread. It's been 2 minutes with the yeast and the salt. We're going to raise our mixer, wet our hands, and check some dough. Window pane is where you stretch the dough, and you should be able to see light through it before it breaks, which I can. This is a very thin dough. You see that? I'm not adding anything extra. I don't want to add extra flour. It's going to continue to absorb the liquids. Don't get worried at this point. So we're going to add our olive oil and honey mixture, which is very easy to get out of the bowl thanks to the little tip of adding the oil first and then the honey. Now that I've added the oil and honey, we're just going to mix to incorporate it. I'm going to remove the dough hook from the mixer. Let's take a look at this dough. It looks wet and sticky. And your dough made with honey and olive oil, right, or even milk, your enriched dough will be stickier, especially if you used honey. Honey is sticky, right? But this dough actually works into a very nice ball with the spatula. I wet my towel, stick it over the top like this, and then I'm gonna let it rise. I'm gonna set a timer for about 30 minutes and check my dough. Our dough has risen. So to test our fermentation, which is the first rise, we're gonna take a wet finger and push it into the dough. I pushed it into the dough and a fingerprint has remained, but the dough did not deflate. This is perfectly proofed. This is wonderful. So the next phase would be punching down the dough. We're not going to actually punch the dough, although you can. Like I said, your kitchen, your rules. But what we're going to do is take the dough, bring it up and over on all 4 sides. Okay. What this is doing is evening out the temperature in the dough and gently taking out some of the air. I'm going to mill a little bit of extra flour. I'm going to use the Spelt. Just turn on my mill. Now we have some flour. Light flour on my board. Basically dust the board with some flour. But if I had a dough that was still too wet, I would add the flour here. And I'm going to sprinkle some flour on top of my dough. Okay? Just like that. Stretch shape this dough. If you find that your dough is sticking, just very lightly add a little more flour, right? So scoop, bring it up and over, and it's sticking. Okay? So just add a little. And I will gently work this flour into my dough. Scoop, flip, sprinkle. And I'm talking just enough that I can work with this dough on a floured surface without it sticking repeatedly. Oh, it's such a pretty dough. Okay. Just gonna move it around on the board, soak up a little bit of flour. It can take it. Okay. There is a reason that I like working with stickier dough. It's a more moist dough, and my bread will not be dry when I'm done baking it. This is how I clean my cutting board. Now I don't have any flour on the floor. It's just beautiful again. My damp towel that I used to cover my dough in the bowl for the first rise is going to be used again for the second rise. And my oven is preheating to 375. Our bread has risen above the pan, and I know this doesn't look great like you would expect from a wheat bread with a strong gluten network. That's okay. This isn't wheat. We're going to put this in the oven and bake it until it's 190 in the middle. Our bread's ready to come out of the oven. It is 200 degrees. Remember, enriched bread dough can bake to a higher temperature than your lean bread dough. Lean bread dough should be cooked to 190. Enriched can go to 200, even 210. But look at this beautiful loaf. Spelt, 100% spelt. It's gonna be wonderful. My rack is actually on top of my refrigerator. It's out of the way. I don't have a lot of space in my kitchen, so it's a great place for me to let my bread dough rise. When it cools, I'll slice it. I have let my spelt bread cool for a little bit, not a lot. So I'm excited to eat myself a tomato sandwich. All right, so we're gonna slice this bread and beautiful crumb. Look at that. Not gonna fall apart on you. Can you see me stretching that? Okay. This isn't gonna be as bendy as our wheat bread, but it's pretty good. If you want this bread to be even softer and more like wheat bread in flexibility, you could add 1/8 teaspoon of vitamin C and a tablespoon or 2 of organic vital wheat gluten. Remember, this is a soft grain. It doesn't make the best bread, but it does make decent bread. One of my favorites. You can never go wrong with 100% spelt bread. It's just so good.